For a while, I thought I was doing everything right with my videos. But they kept getting worse. Not technically, but they didn't feel like mine anymore. And I think there's a reason for that. My whole life, I was told to do what's right, what to value, how to think, what matters, how to be. And that's unavoidable, no matter who raises you or where you grow up. But what I realized far too late, as ridiculous as this sounds, is that I can actually decide what matters to me. But the problem is I didn't. When I started making videos, I started running into the same problem I had as a young kid. When I was a child, I desperately wanted to fit in, to not mess up, to be approved. But now looking back, I actually think that was one of my biggest flaws. This isn't about whether you follow rules, though. I think functioning in society requires following rules. But in my opinion, you can follow rules without being complacent in the way you think. And I'm just now learning how important not being complacent is. And in turn, how important my personal voice actually is. And that's where the story really begins. It's also where YouTube comes into play. I'm still very young, but I honestly have so many stories to tell. So why not tell them? Instead of trying to fit in with the mold. I think it's perfectly okay to be aware of the YouTube algorithm, and even how to take advantage of it in certain ways. But I don't want to let it control me, because if I don't tell it who I am, I know it will tell me who I am instead. And I genuinely think that that is a very dark and dangerous path. Over the past several months, I've experimented with many different video types and topics, many that are now unlisted, from content about Norway to cinematic short films to film photography videos, and I don't think any of those were wrong things to try. In fact, if I hadn't tried those, I probably would have much less of an idea of what I want to do now. But here's the thing, it wasn't the topics that were the problem. It was the way that I was creating the videos. I would have an idea, and then I would try to make it fit into what I thought on the surface mattered for getting people to watch on YouTube. But the thing I didn't know at the time was that I was turning great ideas into hollow, impersonal shells of stories, rather than expressing how I felt and bringing people along on a journey. And I'm done with that now. I'm finally ready to create what actually feels right and feels like me. And I think that is what will actually make others resonate. I think people are so tired of being talked at instead of being told real stories that matter. And while there are inherent tendencies of social media platforms to prioritize certain types of content, I'm a firm believer that if you tell real stories that are from the heart and mean something to you, others will care. And while there's no doubt that there is a large market for blowing up trains or giving thousands of dollars to strangers, there are other ways to tell a good story. I really believe that there are people out there who value a lot more than just that. And the only thing that's changed is now I'm actually going to make videos for those people. Not for some empty idea of what might be popular or what some AI algorithm tells me is the right video to make, because there is no such thing as right. There is only the truth of the individual. And that matters more than we'll ever know. Until we start telling those stories.